one question I had for a guy that couldn't make the live, guy named Ross, he wanted to ask. So this guy is a Jesus follower. He's 41. He's actually a virgin, and he wants to be married, wants kids. But so he read the book and the part about not bringing up the relationship, and I could completely understand how that definitely comes off as desperate. You're like, hey, where do we stand? So he had the question is like, how do I let women know that this is what I'm looking for without coming off desperate? That was the first part of the question, and the second part of the question was the baby rabies, the red flag, because he wants children. So basically, what I told him was, you can state that this is what you're looking for without making it personal to the woman, to say like, hey, where do we stand? Like, hey, I'm looking to get married. I'm not sure if it's you. Let her be the one to bring that up. Like, hey, where's this going, kind of thing. So any thoughts on that for a Christian guy that's looking for a wife and kids? Does that change anything?
No, not really. I mean, if you're dating and the topic comes up, like, what are you looking for? A lot of the times women that are looking for a family will say, well, I want a family, I want to be married, and I want to have children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then she'll say, well, what are you looking for? Well, that's kind of a conversation that goes to like the where do we stand talk, right? I would just say I'm certainly open to that with the right woman, but we just met, so let's keep going and see how things go. You don't want to tell her exactly what you're looking for. Like, you don't want to tell her that you're looking for a woman that's not promiscuous. You don't want to tell her that you're looking for a woman without the red flags. You don't want to tell her what you're using to assess her for mother stock, because this is what this guy's talking about. He's talking about having a family and children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then she might act out in such a way that draws you in, right? Like, she might pretend to be that gal,
right.
Especially if you're a high value guy. If you're a super high value guy, like, women will act. A lot of men will find that when they get married, the representative that they were dating leaves, and then they're left with the real person. So it's not complicated. You should really just follow like everything I talk about in the book. Date women simultaneously in non-monogamous fashion. If he doesn't believe in premarital sex, then don't engage in it. And look for women that don't engage in it either. And look for women of good, strong moral character without the 21 red flags. Look for women that don't bring problems into your life. Look for women that are eager to be useful and complement your life, and will never disrespect you. Those are huge things for men. Look for women like that. And, again, if you're a top shelf guy and you've got all the 7 spokes that I talk about in the second edition of the book, you should be spoiled for choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Again, so much practical advice in your book. Recommend everybody go out and pick it up, men and women. This will be the last question I'm going to ask, and that's just from a viewer, Online Money. Guys, I also have a Patreon account where one of the levels is you can submit questions to me to ask podcast guests, and I get some pretty high profile people like Rich. You can check that out at patreon.com/biblical polygyny. But this question was something that I've definitely thought about. How do you fight Christianity where the pastors tell you forget our past and focus on the present?
Yeah, there's that whole, when a woman repents for her sins, then she becomes born again, or she becomes, this new person. I don't buy that shit. She might be forgiven in the eyes of, a religion or God or Jesus or whatever, but if she shared her body with 50 men, 100 men, whatever it happens to be, if she had an OnlyFans and there's naked pictures of her all over the internet, the guys, stash and store away, you can't erase a past, right? Most guys that ask questions like this would not leave their children in the hands of a pedophile that had repented for their past sins. You would have to be an idiot to leave your children in a room with a pedophile because they've repented and they've been, they've gone through that process of being forgiven. It's the same thing with, women with a highly promiscuous past. I don't think that you should look the other way, when a woman has been promiscuous with her past. It's just not a wise choice. It's an unwise choice. So that's just my take on it.
I love it. No, sin has consequences. That's what I tell people. That's why God tells us not to do it, because, you can go out and kill somebody and become a Christian in jail. God's going to forgive you, but it doesn't mean you're getting out, right?
Here's the thing, you can go and buy, a Ferrari, put 200,000 miles on it. It's got dents and dings. The carpets are all fucked up. Some of the stitching's coming out. The motor's got all kinds of problems with it, knocks and bangs. And then you could take it to a mechanic and wind back the clock to zero. Just because the clock goes to zero, it doesn't mean that's a brand new car. It still has all of the damage from the miles that have been put on that car. When a woman shares her body with a lot of men, these men imprint on her. The probability of her being alpha widowed by one or several of these men is very, very high. You mentioned it earlier. Women have a very difficult time forming a monogamous pair bond to a man over a long period of time if she's been with a lot of dudes. A gal that's been with 50 guys and you're number 51, when things don't go her way in the relationship and she's already been with 50 guys, what's stopping her from being like, I'm out, I'm going to go to 52, right? Because that's usually what women will do. So you just got to be aware of these facts of life.
Yeah, that's good. I think I heard someone say, I don't know if it was George, maybe it was brought in, but basically, and you talk about this, women are born, men are made. And you say, someone compared the analogy, like men are born broke, where women are born with them like $1 million. We're judged with how much we can create, and we're judged with how much they can protect their wealth, or that $1 million. And every time they have sex with them.
Yeah, women have to preserve their beauty, their femininity, and their virginity. Men have to make something out of themselves. That's why women are interested in a man's future, especially if you're courting them for mother stock, for example. She wants to know that you've got the money to have a roof over the kid's head, that you're going to have the ability to feed them, that you're going to protect them and lead them and show them what a man is, right? She needs to know that exists. She doesn't really care about your past at that point. But because we're looking at women, in the terms on a long-term relationship, as mother stock, from the angle that you're generally speaking with, you want to make sure that she hasn't been the village bicycle, at the end of the day, right?
That is the term that got me in trouble. Actually, I actually posted, when a man's looking to settle down and be a provider, he's looking for a wife, not the town bicycle. And that actually created a whole cancel. People like,
why do you think so many women got upset with that?
Right.
Because they were their village bicycle and they want to be forgiven for their past choices, right? I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.